Hi, this is Kai. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. If this is your first time stopping by, please subscribe, like, and comment. And also, please hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of when I upload my videos. Alright, so today I wanted to do a video on Venus retrograde in your natal birth chart. And I'm going to have a link where you can see your own birth chart to see if you have Venus retrograde as well. If you do, any retrograde planet that you have in your birth chart, it will be, it will say Venus, and then it will be like a R next to it in a parentheses. So then you know it's retrograde. And that could be the same for Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, whatever planet. But today I'm going to talk about Venus retrograde. And the reason why I wanted to talk about Venus retrograde is because I have Venus retrograde in my birth chart. And it's, you try to find information about it online or on YouTube, and it's not a lot of information about it. So I'm doing this for people who have it as well, so they can, just be more informed about it. I did, like I said, I was doing some research, and I know that it is very rare. I made some notes. Only about 7 to 8% of the world's population actually have Venus retrograde in their birth chart. So again, it is very rare. And I'm also going to have a link of a video from an astrologer. I'm not an astrologer, but it's just something that I'm interested in because I feel like it's very important. It's like, to me, it's one of the most important planets in your birth chart. But I'm going to have a link of a video below that shows, it's from an astrologer. Her name is Astrolata. And she talks about Venus retrograde and how, like, when planets are retrograde, it seems like they are moving backwards. And she kind of explains it really well, like gives a very good explanation, like one of the best that I've ever seen. So I'm going to have that link below as well. Some celebs, I've seen some celeb birth charts. Some celebs do have it, like Drake, the rapper Drake. He has Venus retrograde in his birth chart as well. So basically, okay, first of all, let's just talk Venus. The planet Venus in your birth chart, it rules or governs your self-esteem, your self-worth, fulfilling your needs, like material needs, like, security, having a home, it rules your finances, it rules romantic relationships, it rules, what else? Romantic relationships, courtships. It rules how you receive love and how you give love. It rules over your aesthetic, what you find beautiful, like how you wear your hair, your makeup, your, just your whole personal style. So even to me, I feel like astrologers kind of gloss over Venus because they see it as like a fluff planet, like, oh, it just rules beauty and, luxuries. But the thing is, your finances, your self-worth, and relationships are like major components of your life. So to me, for like an astrologer to like gloss over that planet and it ruling over so many things is like doing a disservice to people, because that's important, like how you make your money, how you attract money, the kind of relationships you get into, the kind of relationships you attract, the way that you receive love, the way that you give love, like that's everything in life. Like seriously, what else is there? What else is there in life? Okay, there are other things, but I mean, on the day-to-day basis, what other things are you worried about? You know what I mean? All right. So in the planet Venus, it rules over two signs. It rules Taurus and it rules Libra. The Taurus component of Venus is concerned with like your self-worth, your self-esteem, fulfilling material needs, having a house, having a car, having food, basic everyday needs. All right, so that's the Taurus part of Venus. The Libra part of Venus rules how you wear your hair, how you wear your nails. Do you flirt with people when you are interested in them? Do you just sit back and wait for them to come to you? Are you the kind of person that will wear glasses, or will you choose to wear contacts? It rules your aesthetic, how you present yourself into the world. That is very important to, in my opinions, as well. Because, I mean, your whole, everything about you, how you're put together, is the first thing that people see before they even know your name. Okay, so a Venus retrograde person will be a person that, now keep in mind that in your birth chart, you could have a retrograde Venus from birth, but eventually it will go direct. All right, so then it will be just like everyone else's Venus. And I feel like at that point, from birth, I feel like a Venus retrograde person is more introspective. They're more concerned with the Taurus part of Venus. They struggle with self-esteem issues. They struggle with self-worth issues. They struggle with, a lot of them, not saying all of them, a lot of them struggle with meeting their everyday needs, attracting money, attracting, a decent income, being able to have sufficient housing, have food, have a decent car. I feel like a Venus retrograde person, like those are the things that they are concerned about. But then when Venus goes direct in your chart, I feel like you kind of work through those self-esteem and self-worth issues, and then it clicks, and then you start to focus on more the superficial or the fluff aspect of Venus, the Libra aspect of Venus, flirting with people, having romantic relationships, having friendships. I feel like when you are a Venus retrograde person and you're so concerned with the Taurus aspect of Venus, just meeting your basic everyday needs, you don't even have time to think about relationships, to think about how you attract relationships, to think about, what kind of personal style you want. And I'm not saying that every single Venus retrograde has the same issues, but because, again, if you know anything about astrology, you have to look at the sign that it's in, you have to look at the aspects that it's making, and you have to look at the house that it's in. So it's a lot of things going on. This is just a general, singular look at Venus retrograde and the kinds of issues that could come about if you have it in your chart. I don't want to make this video, really long. I just want to give you a broad overview. But throughout my other things that I had researched and saw was that if you're a person that has Venus retrograde in your chart, it's kind of like you take on, for instance, right? Me, for instance, in my birth chart, I have Venus in Cancer. Cancer is typically seen as a very mothering sign. They're very mothering. They're concerned with the home. They're concerned with emotions. They're concerned with giving love. But when you have Venus retrograde, you kind of take on the attributes of the opposite sign that your Venus is in. So for me, my opposite sign of Venus in Cancer is Venus in Capricorn. So when you have Venus retrograde, you could kind of Venus retrograde and say it's in Cancer, like it is for me, you could kind of come off really cold and aloof and distant. You know what I mean? Because it's not direct in your chart, you kind of don't take on the attributes of that sign. And I'm not saying this is a good thing, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but the main reason why I wanted to do this video is because, like I said, a lot of Venus in retrograde people suffer with low self-esteem. They have a low self-worth. And Venus retrograde people, from what I noticed, not just in myself, but other people, we kind of, another thing that, when I do my research, another thing that they were saying about Venus retrograde is they kind of see beauty in things that a person that has Venus direct does not see beauty in. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because it's beauty in every single one of us in every aspect of life, you know what I mean? But it's it could be a bad thing for a person with Venus retrograde, because a person who has Venus direct, they might see a person who is unhealthy, they're toxic, they, have not healed, they have a lot of issues, just a lot of baggage. A person with Venus direct will say, okay, this is not a person that I can get in a relationship with because they just have too much going on and it's not good for me and for my sanity. But a person with Venus retrograde will see, even though it's okay to see beauty in people, but they'll see beauty in that person and they'll say, okay, that's a good match for me. And in effort of trying to save that person, they bring themselves down. You see what I'm saying? So it's nothing wrong with seeing beauty in flawed individuals, because we're all flawed, regardless whether you have Venus retrograde, direct, or whatever going on in your birth chart. But what I'm saying is, when you have a skewed vision of your place in the world, other people's places in the world, what's beautiful in the world, what's healthy in the world, you can kind of find yourself being friends with people that are not healthy, getting into romantic relationships with people that are not healthy because of these Venus issues. And I feel like with a person that has Venus direct in their chart, all those things that I talked about, attracting money, attracting good relationships, like all that kind of energy is like focused outward. It's focused so the world can see it. It's like they're not in their heads about who they are and what they deserve. They know that they deserve certain good things in life, and they know that they deserve the best in life. But a person with Venus retrograde kind of struggles with, do they deserve to have, good housing? Do they deserve to have a healthy mate? It's like all that kind of energy is focused inward, and they kind of like get in their heads about, like what they deserve. They have a lot of issues with self-worth, and that's where the problem with Venus retrograde comes in. Now for me, because of my age, I'm not going to tell you my age, but my Venus is now direct. So I have worked through all those, and I'm not saying we're all a work in progress. I'm still working on it. But I have kind of gotten over the hump of having issues with self-esteem and self-worth and feeling, knowing what I deserve. My Venus is now direct, so I'm now focused more on like the Libra aspect of Venus. So I've gotten over the issues with security and feeling safe and feeling like I'm worthy. And now I can kind of focus on like the fluff aspect of Venus. You know what I mean? So I don't want to make this video too long. I just kind of wanted to get it out there. If you or someone you know has Venus retrograde in their birth chart, just leave me a comment below. Let me know, what struggles you had with it and how you overcame it, and maybe I could do another video about it. I just want to kind of get this information out there because, like I said, it is so rare, and a lot of people don't have these issues, Well, maybe they do, but maybe because of some other aspects in their chart, like maybe Saturn, because Saturn can bring like self-esteem issues and self-worth issues as well. But right now I'm just focused on Venus. All right, so like I said, leave me a comment below. Please let me know if you or anyone you know has Venus retrograde in their chart. We got to stick together. I feel like Venus retrograde people need like a support group. Like I seriously do. But if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Hit the notification button so you can be notified when I do my videos. And let's just talk about Venus retrograde. All right, we gotta be in this together. All right, so talk to you later. Bye.